now, and when we started to review the season and started talking about the year 2000 and what the club should do and where it should head and all that sort of stuff, I just couldn't get my whole mind around it. You know, another pre-season, another whole crack at it, and the battery's really running down. And as Bob said, you know, I'm certainly committed to doing everything I can in the last 7 weeks. But beyond that, I think probably Malcolm Blight in football and playing and coaching is over. You know, I've had a pretty good run for 30 years, so I think it's just time to look at something else in your life and just take a spell.
Well, Kevin Bartlett is with us in commentary today, a great player, but you didn't get a chance to pull the pin as a coach.
No, I had the pin pulled on me, Drew.
Didn't get a chance to get tired.
Not a chance to, but what a fantastic record Malcolm Blight has got in football. He's achieved the Brownlow medal, McGarry medal.
Brownlow, led the goal kickers in both states and captained both states. Phenomenal, really.
Fantastic record, but obviously he's lost the fire in the belly, and there was talk after he won the first premiership that he might give it away, and again after the second premiership, and I think this year, with the way the Crows are going, he's probably looked back and thought, well, really, you know, that fire's no longer there in my belly, and if it's not there, he shouldn't go on, and I think he's made the right decision.
Well, tough assignment today against the Western Bulldogs, who were absolutely sensational here last weekend in ending the 10-game winning streak of the Kangaroos, and the Bulldogs go in today with an unchanged lineup.
Yes, and one of the best sides in the competition, and no doubt when you have a look at, you see Nicky Winmar up there at the top. He's had a pretty good season, beating 24 goals, so he's been a fine pickup, but it's been the old stager for the Western Bulldogs, Scotty Wine, who's been absolutely magnificent this year. He's the general. He can
play next week because North had already played, so, you know, you're odds on almost to get there. So we actually tried some things, so we had a bit of fun in the second half.
Had a bit of fun in the next 3 matches too. Travelling all that time, you know, away from Adelaide, which in a way was even more impressive than the year before. But not only, you know, that occasion, it was, you weren't really the best team through either of the 2 years, and that's what made it so interesting.
Bruce, you know, one of the reasons why I'm finishing is, to me, it's been, and I haven't whinged about it, you know, in the first 2 years. Everyone can plainly see this year that we've just been decimated with injuries, but it's been just such hard work to get blokes on the track and there's a whole host of reasons, and the club's looking at all that now, and hopefully they'll find something out about it. But, you know, to get phone calls every Friday night to say, look, he's pulled out again. 16 times it happened in '98. So the tragedy of my time in Adelaide, I believe, is not going to see what I consider the best team on the park. And it never, ever happened in my whole time here.
Not even in those...
Not even in those grand finals.
In those second halves and those third quarters, no?
No. We still left 3 or 4 or 5 players at home with injury. I mean,
certainly Rashudo I remember very well. And
Vardy and Liptak. I mean, there's a whole host of players that we've left behind. So I just hope, you know, in the next 12 months after my time's here, that the new coach can actually get that team together. And I don't think you'll see 13 wins in a season. I think there's 16, 17, 18 stuff.
The half-time addresses in those 2 grand finals that no one's privy to except you and your players, the turnaround that you were able to achieve. They were 2 legendary third quarters, really.
Yeah, they certainly were.
Grand final third quarters, they took premiership quarters. Well, they were as good as examples we've ever seen.
Yeah, the first one was probably a bit more aggressive than the second one, where, when I say aggressive, it was really just, you know, we were only 2 or 3 goals down, and I'd been in that position before as a coach when the Eagles were 2 or 3 goals down in '92, which I thought we could have won it. So there was, you know, you can actually try some things then, whereas if you sit on a 2-goal lead, you think, will I change it or won't I change it? And it's one of those interesting things now. I know which way position I'd rather be in, having been through both or one the other way. But it was really players do it. You know, all of a sudden, you know, Sean Wren can lift and an Andrew McLeod can find the ball and finish, and momentum. Look, you know, it's the hardest thing to stop in footy, and I'm a great believer that there should be timeouts in footy now. I don't think that we need the competition sides to get beat by 10 or 12 goals. And I think to allow one coach to have timeouts is going to be pretty significant in the future, and is a must, because we don't want those blowouts.
So during a quarter, you'd like to be able to stop?
Yeah, look, Bruce, it'll happen. Now, this may have been the first time, I think I might have mentioned it 5 years ago, but it's fallen on deaf ears. Look, if the AFL want the best competition, the most even competition, give a coach a timeout when that run-on occurs. They've stopped all the rules. You know, in the old days, the old biff used to happen, all that sort of trick. You can't jump on stretchers now. For goodness sake, give the coaches a timeout And I think it will just add to that bit of climax to the quarter and the game.
Is the game too long? Are the quarters too long?
Yeah, I'd believe so. And bring some time back from there.
Yeah. Well, have the coaches discussed that in any seriousness?
Probably around about Ansett Cup time they do. I just, off the top of my head now, I think we've talked about quarters, but...
And the timeout? Because that's a more revolutionary one.
Yeah, not really, no. I think it's just... I can't remember if I started or someone started, but I mean, a few times... The reason why, Bruce, I've got to tell you this, because there's been a few times this year I'd just love to stop the game. And I'm sure that in the last couple of grand finals, both Stan Ellis and Dennis Pagan would have loved to have stopped the game. And I just think it would build up to this climax. I don't think we need to go silly with it, just one. So the coach has got to make a call. Wouldn't the media go crazy with it?
Wouldn't the fans go crazy?
Yeah.
That's probably going to add to how people see you as an eccentric anyway, isn't it? You've done some funny things, Malcolm. You've done something. Look, I think I know you well enough to say that you've said to me occasionally, gee, Patsy said, oh, man. Promise you won't do that one again.
Yeah. I've sort of reasoned with myself now as I've got a bit older to think that I think you spend over 1,000 sessions with the guys a year now, and it's growing. So I figure there's probably 1 or 2 sessions of those a year that you probably go a little bit left field. So it's not...
Fair enough.
So
the percentages are low.
It's a low percentage. But when you look back, it looks like a litany of idiocy, doesn't it? Yeah, no.
You've said never. And you thought about it when you said it.
Yeah, I did.
But you love coaching footballers. You love teaching.
Yeah.
Maybe not as the head coach, but maybe not even full-time, maybe even helping out. I know that there's a lot of things for you, Malcolm, obviously, that you can go and do. Is it never, never?
Oh, you're quite right. This time I actually did say, I said I will say never again. And right now, that's exactly how I feel. Bruce, but having mini lied once, I didn't mean to lie. I wouldn't like to lie again. So I'll say never again, but the tongue's in the cheek and life unfolds in all sorts of ways, so I've got no idea.
Gary Ayres to seek a release from his contract so he can coach the Adelaide Crows. Ayres, who has a year to run on his deal with the Cats, replaced Blight at Cardinia Park in 1995. If he's to follow in Blight's footsteps again, Geelong will expect a suitable compensation package from the Crows. A big crowd turned out for Crows training as Malcolm Blight put his players through their paces for the final time. While assistant coach Darryl Hart had been the hot tip to take over from Blight, the Crows have apparently offered Geelong coach Gary Ayres a deal he can't refuse. The former Hawthorn champion was Blight's assistant for 1 year before replacing him at Cardinia Park.
I was only with Gary for a year, but I found him to be pretty honest and open and, you know, really had a desire to actually succeed as a coach, so I think he's got all the qualities.
On Sunday against the Kangaroos, Crows fans will be saying goodbye to more than just the coach. Inaugural Crows Rod Jamieson and Matthew Liptak will play their last games. Liptak, the 1996 Club Best and Fairest winner, announced his retirement today after 116 games with the Crows. The past 3 years have been interrupted with injuries.
The number of injuries I've had sort of has brought forward the retirement date, and I'm very disappointed that I'm not going to continue playing football, but understandably I've had enough.
And Port Adelaide flew out for Melbourne this afternoon for tomorrow.
Still 2 to go after this, but boy, doesn't he want to win. Hello, welcome. This should be a terrific football match. Tony Lockett obviously is on centre stage, but there's a whole lot to look forward to. His record at the Sydney Cricket Ground is a very impressive one, as you would expect. In fact, his record at Moorabbin's been a great one over the years, and also at Waverley Park, where ironically he will play his last game, all being well, in about 3 weeks' time. I say last game, well, the Swans would like to think that's not the case, because they're in a great position to make it through to the finals. There's Lockett against Adelaide. That's interesting, isn't it? Look how much success he had for the Saints. Averaged 7.5. He actually hasn't done as well, nowhere near as well, for Sydney. So the Crows will take a little bit of heart from all of that. Well, Neil Curley's working the boundary line today, as he always does on Adelaide Crows matches. He's talked to Michael Blight a few times over the years, but today he's with Rodney here.
Rodney, the road to the finals, the hurdles are getting a little bit higher. Yeah, it's getting very tight. There's 6 or 7 teams now with all chances of getting in. So I think the good thing is that our fate's in our own hands, and that we don't have to rely on anyone losing. So hopefully we can get a win today, and hopefully some win in the future weeks.
With Tony announcing his retirement, I guess you've tried to keep a bit of a lid on it so it doesn't affect the players that much?
No, that's right. That was only announced this week because it's our last home and away game, so it's just a bit of a chance for the fans to say goodbye to him. Yeah, that we can't afford to get distracted. I think there's enough motivation for us to win anyway, which we need to, as we said before, to get into the 8. So I don't think we need to use Tony as a false motivation.
Losing young goods, that makes Greg Stafford a very, very important player for you.
Yeah, Greg's only been back 3 weeks. Obviously, Adam's had a very good season, and we probably missed him a little bit last week. But Greg started to play some good footy the last half last week, so hopefully he can play a good full game today.
Rod, thanks for your time. All the best for the finals.
Thanks, Neil.
The 1999 AFL Coca-Cola Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Foster's Light.